Hello. I did not see you there. I'm John Brown. You probably don't know who that is. Well, I'll start from the beginning. I'm John Brown. I was born in Virginia but grew up in Ohio. My father was Owen Brown. He tried to teach me many things. He taught me that slavery is wrong. He taught me the Bible. I didn't really understand him, though, not until I was 12. That's when I was driving the cattle into town like every normal day. I saw a little black boy. We made friends. We played. Well, the next day, when I came, expecting he'd be there, he wasn't. He was in a stable getting beaten with a shovel. Never forgot about that boy. In the later years, I married Diana at the Lusk. We had 7 children together. I bought 200 acres of land. I built a tannery. I hired 15 men. Everything was going well until Diana died. I married 16-year-old Marianne. We had 13 children together in addition to the 7 others. Is that Frederick Douglass? Hello? He must not hear me. I'll talk to him later. Well, if you see him, tell him I said hi. Anyway, him and I were good friends. We made a plan. We'd send guns to the slaves through food crates and packages, hoping that they'd attack their owners and run away to free states like Canada. Well, we were very poor, so when we heard there was going to be war in Kansas because slavery had won their vote, we had no choice but to make a new plan. This plan, actually, we, myself, and 21 of my best men and my 5 sons would go to the town of Harper's Ferry. We'd raid the armory there. Well, the key to the plan would be this. Before the raid, I sent out 5 of my men. They would go out and warn escaped slaves of my raid. Hopefully they'd mass their forces and attack Harper's Ferry while I attacked from the inn. Well, when I attacked, there was much resistance. We were forced into the firehouse, not as planned. No slave army came. It was suicide. By morning, every man, woman, and child in the area with a gun was in the town of Harper's Ferry resisting. Robert E. Lee was also there, him and his squadron. They arrested me finally, but not without a fight. Only myself and 5 of my men remained and were arrested, the rest of them dead or dying. We were tried and found guilty of treason and 5-degree murder. At my court, I said, I'm God's tool, that I will not free the slaves without bloodshed. They did not listen. They hung me on December 2nd, 1859, at the age of 59. At my hanging, I said, I did not want to, and hope not, but was forced to resort to violence. I hope my sacrifice has inspired others to do as I have done, and someday slaves will be free.
Good afternoon, fellow soldiers. Wait, you're not soldiers? Anyways, I have a great story to tell. I'm James Edmond Pease. I lived during the time of the Civil War. It's November 1863. I was ordered from Lieutenant Thomas to write about what happens in G Company of the 122nd Regiment of New York Volunteers from Onondaga County in New York State. I didn't know I was picked. I'm definitely not the best speller nor the smartest. He told me to stop complaining and start writing. Lieutenant Thomas wasn't really pleased with my journey. He gave me some advice. He said to start with the date and the rest would come naturally. Our orders was to guard the supply wagon. We followed our orders for a couple days. One day, there was some firing not far away. We formed a line, but soon we figured out it wasn't a fight. A couple days later, there was a surprise. We followed other companies. We got into battle positions. I really hoped we didn't fight. The enemy was ordered to leave. I was really glad. Our regiment hiked some miles. Other companies joined up at a large bridge. We had to cross the bridge hours later to return. We settled in and started making cabins for the winter. We woke on Thanksgiving before sunrise. I was marching when all of a sudden I caught a rebel on the corner of my eye. I aimed my musket, then a hot lead ball came at my head. Somehow I managed to duck. The ball put a gaping hole right through my hands. I forgot about the incident and charged the rebel. Eventually, we ended up driving him ahead. After the battle, someone took my journal and said, "Look at this." I ripped my journal back and saw a lead ball lodged in it. All I could think about that day was that I was real lucky. Time flew by. It was soon Christmas morning. Everyone got letters, treats, and other goods. Then Johnny, one of my friends, handed me a letter. I never got a letter in my life. "Open it," he urged. "It's from my sister," he exclaimed. I read the letter. It said that I'm in Johnny's family's prayers. Johnny's family also said I was a brave soldier. I decided to write back to them as soon as I had something to say. A couple of days later, Lieutenant Thomas took me into a tent. He and some other men was talking about capturing Lee's army near Richmond this spring. He told me to keep the information a complete secret. Then, to my surprise, he made me a lieutenant. We marched again at the end of spring. A couple days later, we had a battle. The South Army came charging, and I kept charging at us, and I kept yelling to my troops to aim and shoot. Other regiments started running low on ammunition. We still had plenty of ground. We kept fighting. Then I was lifted off the ground. I went tumbling through the air. I hit the ground, and everything went black. I awoke. The rebel inspectors getting all the goods they could find. I played dead. South Army left. My body ached, but I started walking into the woods. Walked a long time and found her cabin. I begged the woman looking at me from the cabin to let me in. She eventually did. I ate and slept. Next morning I started to read, but she read. She spoke French, so I didn't understand. She made a drawing of a Confederate flag. She explained to me to wait as she went to work. Later that day, a man came and I realized we was all leaving. We made it through the woods to a Union Army base. We had coffee. I thanked the woman that saved me and I left. Later, I found a captain I knew. He was surprised I was alive. I started walking away to join my regiment. Then he wished me luck. I replied, "Thanks, Captain, but I believe I already have all the luck I will need." Later, I made it back to my country. I learned that 4 people died and 12 people were injured in the recent fighting. I left the Army and married Sarah. We enjoyed our lives together, and then I died when I was 66.
Good day, troops. Thank you for coming in such a hurry. There is war. Oh wait, you're not my troops. Anyway, I have a great story to tell. I was born April 27, 1822 at Point Pleasant, Ohio. I was born Methodist with the name of a friend Ulysses S. West Point messed that up, but I'll tell you about that next. I entered West Point at the age of 17. The academy messed my name up. They put it down as Ulysses S. After graduating from West Point, I kept a new name. At the start of the Civil War, I gathered troops and trained them. Many key battles I won, many I lost. I accepted the surrender of Robert E. Lee. After that, I became the highest-ranking general in the Army. I also became the hero of the economists. I became president in 1869. After presidency, I wrote an autobiography to support my family. I finished the book a week before I died. I died July 23, 1885, Mount McGregor, New York.
Good afternoon, my fellow citizens. Some of you may recognize me. My name is Abraham Lincoln, and I was 16 fighting for the United States. I also led the Union Army to a Civil War victory. Aren't you glad my army defeated the South, right? I said, right? Right. Ha! Only Robert E. Lee over there heard that. He was leader of the South, you know. Anyway, I'm here to tell you the story of my life. I was born February 12, 1809, in Hodgeville, Kentucky. I had one older sister and one younger brother who died at birth. We lived in a one-room log cabin patched dirt floor. My family moved to Indiana when I was 7 years old to find better crops. When I was 9, my mother died, and my sister had to start acting like a mother. Even though I was already working very hard to help my dad, I had to try to work even harder, earning 25 cents a day splitting logs. And then we began in Illinois when I was 21. When I finally moved away, I became a store clerk at an off-road store. Then I ran for state legislator in 1834 and easily won. I became a leader for the political party called Ulysses. In 1836, I became a lawyer in Lincoln, where I met and married a woman named Mary Todd. We soon had 2 children, Eddie and Robert. Unfortunately, our son Eddie fell ill and passed away. Though he had another son 3 years later, another son after that named Ted. People who knew me often called me a bookworm. Why? Well, I just love books. Sometimes I would walk miles to borrow some of my clothes. Same people also knew I was quite the joker and storyteller. In 1854, the Kansas-Nebraska Act brought me back to politics. I then ran for state senate in 1855 and 1858, losing both times. In 1861, March 1861, I became the 16th President of the United States. I was super happy. Did you know that an 11-year-old girl had written to me in a letter saying I looked more presidential and renewed my beard? Took her advice, and that's how I became the army. Then it tried to destroy it. Only 40 days in the office and the Civil War begins. I didn't know what to do. To make matters worse, my son Willie had almost died. In September 1862, I said that I would free all slaves in the Confederate States if I don't keep on doing it after the year. However, they refused to join, so I talked to my advisors, and they said I should sign the Emancipation Proclamation. But in order to do this, the war needed to be won. In June 1863, we defeated the rebels. It was an amazing victory, and thousands of slaves were freed. In November 1863, I gave the Gettysburg Address in the Civil War battle. Although it is only 272 words long, it is considered the most famous speech in U.S. history. It wasn't, still am very honest about it. Even though the war ended, I became very unpopular with those who lost family members during the fight. They blamed me, and I didn't think I would see a second term as president. But I was actually reelected soon after that, and Robert E. Lee signed the surrender. Another thing about me was that I left going to Ford's Theater with Mary and my favorite rocking chair. Yes, that was my rocking chair. Since the war was over, we decided to go to a plane with our American cousin, April 14th, 1865. It was a wonderful time until the Federal Union and American law. You see, 4 years before going into the theater, I had a dream when I walked in the White House and saw people mourning over my death. I was very confused and asked God what happened. He simply replied, "I was assassinated." That's just what happened, too. In the second scene, down that school, where the cops were on the track, just nothing behind me and shot me in the head. I moved to the boarding house across the street, but I died the next morning.
What's with your funny clothes? Oh, he won't talk.
Later, I entered West Point Military Academy.
I was born a slave, and I'm pretty proud of what I did about it. At age 26, I escaped slaves in New York as a free man. You know, I was against slavery in some ways the war, but from my perspective it helped. During the war, I worked mainly with other abolitionists and President Lincoln. I guess you would say it was my career. Eventually, all the fighting paid off in the war. After the war, I went back to my normal life. I can't believe it, but actually it was until 1895. That's a good 20 years after the war. I'm glad I lived so long, but sorry I have to say goodbye.
Hello, I'm Robert T. Lee, and I was born on January 19th, 1807. 18 years later, I entered West Point Military Academy. I graduated in 1829 as second in my class. 2 years later, I entered West Point Military Academy. I graduated in 1829 as second in my class. 2 years later, I married Mary Custis as a lieutenant in the U.S. Army Corps. During the Mexican War, I was not a captain, by the way. I helped in the capture of Veracruz and Mexico City. In 1861, Virginia joined the Confederacy, and I wanted to defend my home state. So in 1862, I became general of the Northern Virginia Army. I won many great victories in Virginia. One was the Second Battle of Bull Run, while another victory was the Battle of Chancellorsville. I invaded the North twice, but Union forces stopped me both times. The second defeat in the Battle of Gettysburg in July 1863 was a turning point in the war. After Gettysburg, I defended Northern Virginia. I finally surrendered to Grant at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, on April 9, 1865. In my later life, I was a hero to Southerners even in defeat. I became president of Washington College at Lexington, Virginia. The school was later renamed Washington University. I died on October 12, 1870 in Lexington, Virginia.